welcome to the SIOP thing. This is my podcast, Kate Patel. Kevin, what is it? Oh, Kevin's podcast about teaching English language learners. Welcome. I'm your host, Kevin. Today I have a guest with me. Please say hi, contrarian teacher.
Hello.
How you doing today, contrarian teacher?
Bad.
How contrarian? So today we're talking about language objectives. And let's just make sure we're on the same page about language objectives. Of course, each lesson we teach, we have a content objective of what we want the students to learn, understand, or demonstrate. The language objectives are how they are going to either intake that content or prove that they understand that content. You see here as an example of an art class that is trying to teach the students how to critique a work of art. Maybe they are writing a one-paragraph critique using those terms, and that's how they're demonstrating they understand. Maybe they are listening to a classmate so they can reframe their opinion, or maybe they are speaking using some sentence frames in order to critique that piece of art. That is the language skills they are using in order to reach that content objective. Here's another example from an 8th grade math class where maybe students are asked to write equations to represent something from a word problem. They are skimming, that is a reading skill, to find those key words to help them write the equation, and they are describing to a partner how that equation will be used using some kind of sentence frames. Language objectives, very important. Contrarian teacher, what do you think about language objectives?
I hate them.
Why? Big waste of time. I respectfully disagree. In fact, let me show you a quote. Good teachers not only have content knowledge, but they also should be able to understand how language contributes to the content and know their student language proficiency levels so they can target the content at the student's current language level.
Did you just quote yourself?
Yes.
Lame.
I can't necessarily disagree with that. But I do believe language objectives are a very important thing, but maybe not for the reason you think. In my opinion, language objectives are more of a reflective or a metacognitive importance. In other words, as a teacher, for you to deconstruct your content into the language objectives the students need to demonstrate, you can then easily identify what skills you need to scaffold, modify, or shelter for them to be successful in that lesson. And number two, on a larger scale, if you take a look at your language objectives over, say, a week or a month for planning purposes, it can help you make sure that you are balanced in those skills across, say, a unit or across, say, a couple weeks. If you are breaking down and deconstructing the language lessons, the language skills, the language objectives in your lesson, you can ask yourself this question. What deficiencies in my students' language skills are preventing them from achieving my content goal? And then how can I support them in that skill? Or, like I said, this hypothetical teacher here, when they look at their language objectives over the course of a week, might notice that they are mostly just listening and writing. And that speaking and reading they are not helping their kids develop speaking and reading skills within that content. So you're saying we don't really have to post them? Yes. I guess that's one way to put it. And if you just put your language objectives on the board and you're not referencing them or you're not using them or you're not checking in with them, then yeah, they are kind of useless. But let me show you something that I saw from 2009, this article written by Simon and Taylor. They analyzed students' opinions about content objectives and found that over 80% of students had positive opinions about their teachers demonstrating the content objectives. They said, most commonly, that it helps me know what I need to know. Now, they do note in this study that posting your content objectives prior to a unit for the whole unit really had no difference than posting them every day. And also, we should note that these were adult students, so they were a little bit more self-actualized or self-motivated learners. Yeah, so that's content, not language. Yeah, I guess I am saying that, but I should note that they also found that posting language objectives does ease anxiety for students and give them expectations of what they are supposed to be doing in that class. So it does have positive benefits. So, you think you're going to use language objectives? Yeah, no, I'm not going to. You should. Nope. I think they're good. I disagree. Okay, then don't do it. Okay, fine, I will.
I hope this helps.